Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Global error handling in .NET 8 is crucial for building robust applications. It allows you to manage exceptions in a centralized manner, ensuring that your application can handle errors gracefully and maintain a good user experience. Below is a comprehensive tutorial on how to implement global error handling in a .NET 8 application, along with code examples. Step 1. Setting up your .NET 8 project. First, ensure you have .NET 8 installed. Create a new ASP.NET Core web application using the command line bash .NET new webapi and global error handling demo. cd global error handling demo. Step 2. Understanding middleware. ASP.NET Core uses middleware to process HTTP requests. You can create custom middleware to handle global exceptions. Middleware components are executed in the order they are added to the pipeline. Step 3. Creating custom middleware. Create a new class for your global exception handling middleware. This class will catch exceptions thrown during the request processing. Sharp. Using Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.HTTP. Using Microsoft.Extensions.Logging. Using System. Using System.NET. Using System.Text.JSON. Using System.Threading.Tasks. Public class global exception handler middleware. Private read-only request delegate _next. Private read-only iLogger global exception handler middleware _logger. Public global exception handler middleware, request delegate next, iLogger global exception handler middleware logger. _next equals next. _logger equals logger. Public async task invoke async, HTTP context. Try. Await _next, context. Catch, exception X. Await handle exception async, context, X. Private task handle exception async, HTTP context, exception. _logger.log error, exception.message. var response equals new. Status code equals, int, http status code.internal server error. Message equals an unexpected error occurred. Please try again later. Context.response.content type equals application/JSON. Context.response.status code equals, int, http status code.internal server error. Return context.response.write async, JSON serializer.serialize, response. Step 4, registering middleware in the pipeline. Next, you need to register your middleware in the startup.cs file, or program.cs in .NET 6 and later. This is where you set up your application's request pipeline. Sharp. Public class program. Public static void main, string args. var builder equals web application.create builder, args. / add services to the container. Builder.services.add controllers. var app equals builder.build. / use the global exception handler middleware. App use middleware global exception handler middleware. / configure the HTTP request pipeline. App use authorization. App map controllers. App run. Step 5, testing the global error handler. You can now create a sample controller that throws an exception to test your global error handling. Sharp. Using Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.MVC. API controller. Root, API/controller. Public class test controller, controller base. HTTP get, error. Public action result get error. Throw new exception, this is a test exception. Step 6, running the application. Run your application. Bash. .NET Run. Now, you can test the error handling by navigating to http://localhost 5000/api/tests/error. You should receive a JSON response similar to this. JSON. Status code, 500. Message, an unexpected error occurred. Please try again later. Step 7, enhancements and best practices. 1. Custom exception types. Create custom exception classes for different error scenarios, example not found exception, validation exception. This allows you to handle specific exceptions differently in your middleware. 2. Logging. Make sure to log the exceptions properly. This helps in diagnosing issues in production. 3. Environment-specific responses. In development, you might want to return detailed error messages. You can check the environment and adjust the response accordingly. Sharp. If environment.is development. Response.message equals exception.message. 4. Status codes. Customize the response status codes based on the type of exception or the error scenario. Conclusion. Implementing global error handling in .NET 8 applications using middleware is an effective way to manage exceptions. By centralizing error handling, you can produce consistent error responses and improve the maintainability of your application. This approach also allows you to customize responses based on your application's needs. Global error handling in .NET 8 is an essential aspect of building robust applications. It allows you to manage exceptions in a centralized manner, ensuring that your application can respond gracefully to unexpected issues. In this tutorial, we'll explore the modern approaches to global error handling in .NET 8, primarily focusing on ASP.NET Core applications. Overview of global error handling. Global error handling can be achieved using middleware in ASP.NET Core. Middleware can intercept requests and responses, allowing you to catch exceptions, log errors, and return user-friendly error messages. Steps to implement global error handling. We'll create a simple ASP.NET Core Web API project to demonstrate global error handling. Step 1. Create a new ASP.NET Core Web API project. You can create a new ASP.NET Core Web API project using the .NET CLI. Bash. .NET New webapi and Global Error Handling Demo. CD Global Error Handling Demo. Step 2. Create a custom error handling middleware. Next, we'll create a middleware class to handle exceptions globally. Create a new folder named middleware and add a class called errorhandlingmiddleware.cs. Sharp. Using Microsoft.ASP.NET Core.HTTP. Using Microsoft.extensions.logging. Using system.net. Using system.text.json. Using system.threading.tasks. Namespace global error handling demo.middleware. Public class error handling middleware. Private read-only request delegate _next. Private read-only iLogger error handling middleware _logger. Public error handling middleware, request delegate next, iLogger error handling middleware logger. _next equals next. _logger equals logger. Public async task invoke async, HTTP context. Try. Await _next, context. Catch, exception X. Await handle exception async, context, X. Private task handle exception async, HTTP context, exception. _logger.log error, exception, an unhandled exception occurred. var response equals new. Status code equals, int, http status code dot internal server error. Message equals an unexpected error occurred. Please try again later. Context.response.content type equals application/JSON. Context.response.status code equals, int, http status code dot internal server error. Return context.response.write async, JSON serializer.serialize, response. Step 3, register the middleware in program.cs. Now, we need to register the error handling middleware in our application's pipeline. Open program.cs and add the middleware. #. Using globalerrorhandlingdemo.middleware. var builder equals web application.create builder, args. / add services to the container. Builder.services.add controllers. var app equals builder.build. / configure the HTTP request pipeline. App use middleware error handling middleware. App use authorization. App map controllers. App run. Step 4, create a sample controller. Let's create a sample controller that throws an exception to test our error handling middleware. Create a new controller called testcontroller.cs in the controllers folder. #. Using Microsoft.ASP.NETCore.MVC. Namespace global error handling demo.controllers. API controller. Root, controller. Public class test controller, controller base. HTTP get. Public iaction result get. Throw new exception, this is a test exception. Step 5, run the application. Run your application using bash. .NET Run. You can test your error handling by navigating to http://localhost 5000/test, or the appropriate URL for your environment. You should see a JSON response like this. JSON. Status code, 500. Message, an unexpected error occurred. Please try again later. Conclusion. In this tutorial, we built a simple ASP.NET Core Web API application that demonstrates global error handling using custom middleware. This approach allows you to log errors and return consistent error responses across your application, improving user experience and maintainability. Feel free to expand on this example by adding logging, custom exception types, or integrating with an error tracking service to enhance your application's error management capabilities.